So today we're addressing the question of how God, nature, and science are all interrelated. Here with us is Dr. Kenneth Miller of Brown University, and we're going to talk to him about a few things. So, Dr. Miller, do you think that evolutionary science and traditional Christian religious perspective can coexist?
Yes, absolutely. I have spent a long time studying these fields, and I'm a firm believer that these two areas definitely can coexist.
Why do you think there's so much controversy when it comes to these two topics?
Well, you see, in my opinion, what it all comes down to is evolution and religion are pretty emotionally charged subjects. Evolution describes a way that different creatures have developed and kind of, in some people's opinions, takes away from the creation story. So that's really bothersome to a lot of people because it kind of takes God out of the picture and doesn't necessarily give him a purpose, and a lot of people base their entire faith upon God created the earth and created all the creatures within, and without further analyzation, they don't know if evolution takes away all of God's work, and with that makes people kind of feel less significant and unimportant in the scheme of things if they weren't created by God and were just created by evolution. So it can be really worrisome to a lot of people.
Talk to me about some of the theories that have come up to combat evolution.
So there's a lot of different theories and perspectives, different people and groups who combat evolution, whether that be from a religious or scientific perspective. The two main groups that I like to talk about are the young Earth creationists and the theory of intelligent design. Young Earth creationists believe in a literal interpretation of the Bible. They believe that the fossil record is scientifically incorrect, and they believe that the Earth is 10,000 years old based on a literal chronological timeline of the Bible. And to me, this is just very hard to believe. I find it scientifically impossible. A couple reasons why. The fossil record, really, it's a fact. There's a million different things that prove that. So the young Earth creationists believe that the fossil record is not a scientific fact about proving evolution. They believe that the fossil record is a result of Noah's flood, and that all of the sedimentation was abruptly caused from this flood. However, in my opinion, the fossil record is indeed a fact and a definite proof that the evolution did occur and does occur, because one example I find interesting is flowering plants appear much later in the fossil record than plain non-flowering plants, and had this been a result of Noah's flood, this wouldn't be possible. One of the other major combating groups to evolution is intelligent design, and basically intelligent design's theory is that each individual species was created individually by God, and they do believe that the fossil record is correct, but they don't believe that the evolution of species over time is true. They believe that each individual species was made by God, and to me this just can't be true because I feel like it discounts God's true and all-powerful creation, and in my opinion, I believe God is capable of creating an earth that can stand on its own and can survive without needing to come back and fix his mistakes over and over again, just simple adaptations. And I believe that God would have known from the beginning exactly what needed to be created if this were to be true.
Thank you so much for coming in, Dr. Miller. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So throughout this journey, we've been focusing on how God, nature, and science all can be interconnected. By interviewing these authors today, we would like to also put in our own views.
So first off, we'd like to kind of talk about what we have gained and learned through reading and getting to interview Dr. Kenneth Miller's book and getting to speak with him. Personally, for me, what I've gained is kind of just a way to combine both evolution and religion. And for me, all through school and all my life, I've kind of learned about both, but totally separate. In school, we learned about the process of evolution, but in church and kind of my upbringing, I learned a lot about the theory of creation and all of that. But at no point have I ever talked about them together. It was kind of like not mentioning the elephant in the room, that a lot of times those two subjects don't get along. So I think it was really beneficial for me to see that there are very educated people out there, and people have done a lot of research who do believe that these two theories can coexist, and that kind of gave me some peace of mind and also made me think more about what I truly believe.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, like the elephant in the room, I think I've heard a lot from both sides, but it's kind of like taboo, like not to talk about them together and like what you believe together. And in the past, if I had ever been asked about evolution, because I kind of grew up with more young earth creationist view from my home church, and I never really questioned that because I never really thought much about it until reading Dr. Miller's book. And then it made me think, because I've always never felt like I was educated enough to even have an opinion on these things. And now, because of this, I find myself thinking more about it, and I may have more insightful opinions about it than I did.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like now, like, I'm able to like make an opinion, just a basic one instead of like a set answer, because like from my experience, I've only really experienced evolution in museums like Smithsonian's and everything, and like religion. I've always believed in both, that there is a scientific evolution. I believe in scientific evolution and religion, and I believe in Genesis and everything. I just never knew how to correctly correlate them and make sure that like neither of my views were being stepped on too much by the other. And so I think that this book has really opened up my mind and given me like educational and factual information on how to support my ideas.
Okay, so today we're going to be interviewing Mr. Richard Bachman, a biblical scholar and author of the Bible and Ecology. Okay, Mr. Bachman, do you think that by critically reading the Bible, humans can better understand the relationship God intended between humans and the rest of creation?
Well, in my book, The Bible and Ecology, I discuss the importance of reminding humans that we are interconnected with all of God's creation. God's creations are equal and are intended to live in harmony. All creatures bring glory to God simply by being themselves and fulfilling their God-given duty in God's creation.
How have human attitudes influenced the way they treat the rest of God's creations?
Well, most humans have adopted hubristic attitudes and tend to act arrogant towards the environment, which is unfortunate. God had given all of his creation certain provisions on earth to ensure that they were put in their place. Creation should be portrayed as being completely and directly dependent on God's giving. There should be a sense of community and fellow creatureliness among all of the